All right, guys, I'm going to share with you the PowerPoint and story for reading today in case you missed the lesson or you have to leave for an appointment. So the first thing you should have, like I told you yesterday, you should have this Wonders workbook in Units 1 through 2. We're going to finish reading Room to Grow. I have made a PowerPoint for today's lesson. It is in Google Classroom Reading. Feel free to follow along with it. Google Classroom Reading under Room to Grow. It's right there with that Room to Grow PowerPoint. All right. I think I need to actually change some of these slides. I forgot. So we're going to continue talking about beginning, middle, and end. We're going to create this anchor chart today. So make sure that if you missed it, you are able to do that. Remember, you can always pause it. You're going to get a new notebook out. Yesterday, we got one notebook out. We wrote the word math on it. That was going to be our math notebook. Now you need to get another notebook and write reading on it. And this is going to be your reading notebook. We're going to use it just for anchor charts, for reading response notebook, for journaling, lots of different things. So make sure that you have a reading notebook. If you don't have two notebooks today, make sure you have a piece of paper. Okay, pause this anytime to, sorry, my dog is licking me. Pause this anytime to write down the anchor chart. All right, this is supposed to be Room to Grow. I need to change that. But if you open up to page 2, we did this yesterday, but I want to read it again for those of you who might have missed it. It says, Room to Grow, Spring in the City. My name is Kiku Sato. Last spring, my family and I moved from the country to the big city. Our new home in Portland had no yard. There wasn't even a tiny plot of land. So Mama made an indoor garden. First, transition word there, she and Papa planted the seeds in pots. Then they hung them from hooks. Next, they crammed plants onto shelves. Green vines tumbled over desks. Soon, our house had plants everywhere. So when we talk about beginning, middle, and end, we use transitional words. And we like to say first, next, then, finally. Okay, first, next, then, finally. That gives me a good sequence of the story. At first, I was scared to start school. I was afraid no one would be my friend. But I soon met a classmate. Jill Hernandez and I were practicing reading aloud one day. She helped me say her last name, and I helped her pronounce mine. The next day, we were best friends. Jill spent lots of time at my house. Now, on Monday, we did this page. It's in your workbook, page 3. We did that sequencing. And the sequencing asks us to underline what happens after Kiku meets Jill. So we're supposed to underline exactly what happens after that in the story. And then tell me on the lines what happens the next day with them. Today, so if you didn't do that yesterday, make sure you do it today. Today, we're going to be talking about ask and answer questions. Okay? Our two kind of big standards here are beginning, middle, and end, and ask and answer questions. So it says paragraph 2, why do Mama and Papa grow an indoor garden? So we're going to look on paragraph 2 right here. Paragraph 2, the second paragraph. I want to know, why do Mama and Papa grow an indoor garden? Circle the text evidence. Text evidence means that it's written directly in the text. I can pull it right out. So circle the text evidence to be able to answer that question. An idea for a garden. One afternoon, Jill and her mother came to visit Mama and Papa and me. First, they saw our beautiful potted plants. Jill's mother said, Jill admires your indoor garden. She has told me so much about it. We all sat down while Mama served tea. First, transition word there, she put green tea into the tea bowl. Then she added hot water and stirred. She handed the bowl to Jill's mother and bowed. Now, if you look on page 4 right here, you can look at this in your text, in your book. It says the heading. This right here is a heading. an idea for a garden. This whole section and this whole section, the story is going to be all about an idea for a garden. So it says, draw a box around the heading. Draw a box around the heading. How does Jill feel about Mama and Papa's indoor garden? How do you think she feels about it? Look back in the text to find that text evidence. And how does she feel about it? And then circle the evidence that proves your point. Now, in the second paragraph, what does Mama do before she adds hot water to the tea bowl? What does she do before? Remember, yesterday we talked about after. Today we're talking about before. What does she do before? So you want to find where Mama adds hot water and look at the sentence before that. Okay? Underline what it says in the text and write 2 signal words. Those signal words mean transition words. First, next, then, finally. Do you hear any of those words in that text? First, next, then, finally. If you do, write those 2 words on that line. Page 5. My mother taught me how to make tea, said Mama. She also taught me how to plant a traditional Japanese garden. I learned to make the most of a small, compact place. All of a sudden, Jill's mother smiled. Can you help us with a project? She asked. Our community wants to plant a garden. Our plot is very small. There is so much we want to grow. Papa looked at Mama, and they both bowed. Yes, they said. All right, now we're back over here. Back to this ask and answer question. It says reread paragraph 1. So you're going to go back and read this first paragraph. And it says, think of a question about Kiku's grandmother. What question could you ask about Kiku's grandmother from that paragraph? And what you learn about this paragraph, what is a question you could ask about Kiku's grandmother? And I want you to ask a question that you can answer from the text. But just focus on asking a question, and we'll get to that later. Then in paragraphs 2 and 3, it says, circle what happens after, keyword there, after, circle what happens after Jill's mother asked Mama and Papa to help with the community garden project. So once again, you're going to look in the book for that sentence about Jill's mother asked Mama and Papa to help with the community garden project. And then what happens next? What happens after that? Okay, that's what I want you to circle. What happens after that? A garden grows. First, we had a meeting with the community. Everyone agreed to contribute. Some people brought seeds, tools, and dirt. Then the next day, then the next day, we met and started our garden. Papa built long, open boxes. Next, keyword there, that's that signal word, that transition word. Next, we filled them with dirt. The tallest box went close to the back wall. The boxes got shorter and shorter. The shortest box was in the front. All the plants will get sunlight without making shade for the others, Mama said. Okay, then we're going to reread that first paragraph. Reread that first paragraph that starts with the word first. And underline 2 things that happen in order. 2 things that happen in order. First, next. First, then. And then write the signal words that tell when they happen. Once again, remember those signal words are like transitional words. First, next, then, last, or finally. And then we're on to page 7. Then, here's another signal word, then we use round, flat stones to make a rock path. Papa said that in Japan, stones are an important part of a garden. Finally, we planted the seeds. Jill and I worked in the garden all summer. Our community grew many different vegetables. At the end of the summer, we picked enough vegetables to have a cookout. Mama brought a big pot of miso and vegetable stew. Everyone thanked Mama and Papa for their help. They brought a bit of Japan to Portland. I was so proud. So then we're on this last page right here. And it says read. So reread paragraph 1 by yourself. I just read it to you. Read it by yourself. And it says underline what happens after Papa makes the rock path. So remember, we want to find Papa makes the rock path and what happens after that. After that. And then write the signal word here. What word tells us first, next, then, last, or finally? And then paragraph 2. Look at that paragraph 2 again. And I want you, once again, we're doing ask and answer questions. I want you to write a question about the cookout. Any question you have about that cookout. And that is our story for today. Now, once you've watched the video, once you've read the story, watch the video, I want you to watch this sequencing brain pop. Okay, once you watch this sequencing brain pop and see if you need to add any of the work to our anchor chart. That's up to you. Here's the username, Riverside BP, and the password, Roadrunners. All right, for grammar, we're going to be talking about capital letters. This is also an anchor chart you need to make. If you didn't make it in class, make that anchor chart. These are all the times I write capital letters when it's names of people and pets. When I use the word I to describe myself, names of places like McDonald's, Kroger's, Riverside Elementary, names of holidays, Christmas, Halloween, days of the week, beginning of a sentence, the dog sat, and the months of the year, January, February, March, April, May, June, July, August, where we're at, September, October, November, and December. These are all times that we have to create capital letters. This is going to be our grammar activity today. Once you've written that, you may go to Google Classroom Reading, and you see you only have one assignment after you do you have to do the workbook, and then the other assignment is capitalizing sentences. Now it says highlight the sentence that is not capitalized correctly. Don't worry about highlighting sentences. We might come back to this. Right now, I want you to find the sentence that doesn't have the correct capital letter and write that. So you can see she lived on a farm in Minnesota when she was a child. She should be capitalized because it's the beginning of a sentence. And Minnesota should be capitalized because it is a place. She painted children skating in winter. She should be capitalized because it's the first word of the sentence. And as I told you yesterday, when there's a scroll bar, you want to scroll all the way down to make sure that you complete it. Once you complete that, turn that in. There will either be a turn in button here, or once you complete it, there'll be a turn in button right here where your assignment was. And those are all your assignments in reading for Tuesday. Good luck.